Oh, Godslayer. Let's take a look. This is, by the way, recording for my stream, so if the quality drops sometimes, like it's probably a 720p video, but my stream quality dropped, so if it's randomly low quality, it's because of the stream. I didn't record it proper quality, I'm sorry. Um, yeah, so we go here, we stay in the water because I feel it's a bit safer when the white cats come. So white cats are coming. In the last wave, thanks for forming the stacks. My skill setup is Acuity with Burning Spellweave for trash. I mean my gear setup and my skills, you see I'm using 3 ground odds. I use Dark Drain to proc Minor Prophecy, that's the Sorc skill. I'm the only Sorc in the group. And you see my surrender is also showing Minor Prophecy in the corner there. So I use it before every trash fight, just to make sure I give 6% crit chance to the whole group. When you're doing the trash here, it's also important to time your ultimates correctly. You want to make sure you have ulti ready for the bosses. So what I noticed was that, like, even though it's probably not ideal to drop an ulti at the specific time, just because it lines up with the boss, it's good to drop. Like, I drop it just because it lines up with the boss, not because there's a good stack or it's a dangerous stack or something like that. But yeah, so I just use Channel Acceleration and then Dark Drain before trash fights. Do I drop ulti here again? I think I might. I'm not sure. Or maybe I just save it. I would probably drop ulti here. But yeah, place my dots and then just do spammables. As you can see, I'm running out of Magicka here. I am not using Sustain Food because I want to make sure I'm as safe as possible. I have 28,000 health there. You're doing Godslayer, you're doing a no death achievement, you probably want more health. Unless you really want to push for damage. But yep. So one tank runs ahead to form the next stack, which is finish this white cat. And off we go. There's the stack. So like, if you want to play it safe, you could drop ultis here. We drop some, but I save my distro. I don't drop ulti like there's a horn, there's a colossus. But this is like a dangerous fight. This one. What some groups do is they drop ultis here, and then they don't go to the boss. They go to the next trash fight, and after that go to the boss. Just to recharge ults. So again, I pre-buff with Channel Acceleration and Dark Drain, and I swap my things around. My skills. I don't even need Channel Acceleration. Oh wait, I do. Never mind. So I would recommend running maybe Medusa here, but I am running Siroria Marusuru. And I have Trap on my front bar, which isn't great. I put it on my front bar because I wanted shield on back bar just for, like, you would ideally put shield on front bar to push more damage on the Locusties. But I put shield on back bar and trap on front bar, meaning I'm going to have less front bar damage, less spell damage, but more back bar damage. And this was purely because what our group lacked a little bit was a damage on the trash fight. We're doing fine with the dragon, and we wanted more damage on the trash fight. And in the trash, you pretty much just spam your wall. You position yourself so that you hit everything, like you hit the Atros, and wall spam is actually quite a lot of damage. We'll leave one Atro there. Quite a lot of damage, but it's especially like it has really long range. So if one Atro is near you and the other is really far behind him, then you can just spam your wall and it will hit both of them even when they're fairly far away. So this is why wall is really nice. And it is actually, I expected it to be pretty bad, but it turns out, like looking at the logs, it turns out it's actually very good. It's unexpected to me. It was very surprising to see just how good Wall of Elements is to spam. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Dummy House is the monster set I am wearing. You could probably run double crit as well. It might be a little bit more damage on the trash, but Dummy House is not bad on trash, and it's the best thing you can run for the dragons. One thing when it comes to pushing the damage on the dragons is that you want to remember their flight percentages. So for Locustes, he flies up first at 80%, then at 50%, and then at 20%. So when you see the dragon is at like 55, for example, what you can do is stop your, like, don't reapply dots again if they're not lasting their full duration. I feel that Orb is worth recasting if it lasts at least 6-ish seconds. While probably more because it gives you, or probably less because it gives you your backbar enchant proc. Yeah, there was a lot of Atros executing at the same time. If that happens, you want to spam shield. Like if you don't want to get 4 Atros because that's just scary. But 3 Atros, if they start executing, you might want to do a shield or 2. That's what we did at least, because we found we were dying to that quite a lot. Okay, back to the dragon. Drop the Atro. Ooh, I stunned the stunned the flame Atro with that ult. Didn't even realize. But yeah, what I was saying is that when you see the dragon is nearing lower health, or is nearing the flight phase, you just use your spells. You don't need to reapply your dots again. Especially what really is bad is if you do pray. So you see the dragon is 28. I probably don't reapply dots anymore. Wall is running out. I do pray at 25. I don't do wall anymore. I don't do orb anymore. Dragon is at 20. And you see I just like finish off with spells. That really helps you push the damage a little bit. And oh yeah, why not run Medusa? That's what I was thinking. Why not run Medusa? I was running Medusa here before, but the problem with running Medusa is that if you run Medusa, you would need to front bar it, and then you don't have a minor force on back bar. So again, you're losing out damage on the trash. This is why I run Mother Sorrow instead, and I run Trap. So I sacrifice a little bit of boss damage, but you gain trash damage, and that is very important. I feel like killing the Atros here would seem to be the most problematic. And I think I almost overlapped with my neighbor there, which was scary. You don't want to do that. Just throwing a few heavy attacks, we're leaving. In the final phase, you don't actually need to kill those Storm Atros. You can kill a few to help your off tank, but you should be able to handle 2 Atros, 2 Atronax fairly easily. You want to, just for a little bit of extra safety, you can form 2 stacks here. This will help with combat prayer uptimes. This will help if you're running powerful assault. So we kind of do left and right group like you would in Yolnakrin, but most importantly, that's for the meteors. So in execute, you see there's a meteor on the left group, but it doesn't actually hit me because I'm in the right group. And you don't want to loot for Godslayer. If you loot, you're gonna make your raid lead angry. Because Imagine missing Godslayer by like 2 seconds because somebody looted. That would be awful. But if you have enough DPS, it shouldn't matter. Still, it gives you a nice buffer in the end. Like having extra time in the end gives you a nice buffer, allows you to play safely. Like if you're on the final boss fight and you see, oh, you have like 2 extra minutes to spare, then you can just take it slow and just make sure you're okay. So with this group, we did Godslayer in 22, I think 22 raid days. We were raiding for 3 hours each day. And before we went to Godslayer, we got every other trifecta before. So started with Griffin Heart, which took quite a lot just because it was the first trifecta, people weren't too used to it. Immortal Redeemer took like 4 days, 3 days, something like that. TikTok Tormentor. Oh, this is where quality goes bye-bye. This is where my internet drops, probably because my dad turned on the microwave, I think. Yeah, so Immortal Redeemer took about 3 or 4 days. TikTok Tormentor took like 2 or 3 days, I think. So those would be the easier ones. And then Dawnbringer is one of the trickier ones, so that took us around 10 days or 11. And then Godslayer was just like a next level. This was the most frustrating, was the longest time spent here. We also had a major patch during our progression, so the meta changed quite a lot. We had to change a few things around. Damage got nerfed. CP got raised. So before this patch, max CP was 800 at then. So most people were max CP already, if not all. And then patch dropped. People had to get like daggers and things because the meta changed completely. So that delayed us a little bit. Okay, Yelnacrin. If you can see anything, I don't know if you can see anything, but this is microwave going. If you can see anything, then tips for Yelnacrin. So make sure you pre-buff when you start the fight. When this happens, this is what happens sometimes. I'm just gonna pause here because this is important. You get flare, and you get the time stop at the same time. Generally, the idea is that you move out. You try to walk out slowly, just walk backwards. But because that flare happened somewhat late, we decided to just stay. It's like, okay. But normally you would walk out of the time steps because it also, like, they stun you and they reduce the damage you do. Right? Anyway, so Yolnacrin damage. I think the most important thing is, again, flight phases. You want to make sure you don't reapply your dots at 75, 50, and 25% is the flight phases. So like every 25, every 1/4 of his health you deal, he's gonna fly. So right now he's at 25, you see I'm no longer reapplying any dots. I don't recast orb, I don't recast my wall, I just spam. Just do your spammables and you're gonna do deeps. Okay, then he's doing a flight. You can place down your dots here, but I don't really because the thing dies so quickly, and just heavy attack. Just heavy attacking to recharge resources. You don't actually need to damage these guys. I have an add-on for me when it says Cataclysm ends at 1 second. So then you have a couple of seconds left. This is exactly what I figured out to be for my specific rotation, the best time to start reapplying dots. So I have Trap, 2 pets, Wall, Orb, and Boundless Storm, and Ult. So that's like, what, 5, 6, 7 scale casts that I want to do, and then the Dragonlance. So you pre-place all of your dots that you have. He's at 50%, so I don't actually need to recast the Tormentor, so I will probably start casting at 0 when it says Cataclysm ends in 0 seconds. But before 50% health, you want to recast at 1 second and actually use your Twilight Tormentor pet active. So I cast at 0, do everything, Wall, Orb, Storm Atro, and Dragon is down. and all of your dots are ready. So this is something that really pushes deepest. Set flare, replacing dots. Another thing that I have noticed to be a problem, I've talked to people, and it really is a problem a lot. Oh, my crystal frag's back out there. That's so annoying. It really is a problem a lot that the dragons have two hitboxes. One is their head, one is their body. If you, like, whichever hitbox you're hitting, if you're turned more to the right side, especially if you're on the wing side, so I'm on the right, I'm on the wing, I'm more likely going to be hitting the body. If I turn my camera slightly to the left, I feel that's at around where his neck is, like where his collarbones would be. Dragon anatomy, by the way. If you turn slightly to the left, then your character is going to turn around and start hitting his head. And the turning around animation actually delays your light attacks. And this is very often going to cause you to miss light attacks if you do that. So what you need to do, if your character is turning, you cannot cast your skills early enough, I would say, or like as early as you would with what you might call it, as you would with like regular global cooldown. You actually need to delay your skill a little bit if your character is turning. So what you want to do is you want to prevent your character from turning, make sure you pick one spot and that you're looking at it. I probably should be looking a little bit higher than this. But like if you move your mouse left and right, then your character is gonna be turning and you're gonna be missing things. You can try this, you can test this out how it works if you try to light attack and place Wall of Elements. Try light attacking and place Wall of Elements, and then try turning your camera like 90 degrees and then light attack and press Wall of Elements. You will see that your character starts turning those 90 degrees before they actually start light attacking. And that is what that is the light attack that your next skill will cancel. So once you learn to deal with that, your DPS will actually go up. Whoa! Hello, quality. 2 pixels actually. So yeah, this trash fight, this actually doesn't exist. Like nobody ever does it unless you're doing Godslayer. So this is why you cannot actually see it on the video. It's not real. It's like Santa Claus or Slash. It's actually not real, this fight. So now what we do is you kill the trash. There's 2 waves. You cannot see anything right now. I feel so bad for actually not recording at local quality. Like I didn't actually record local quality. I was recording at stream quality. This is incredible. I didn't even know the stream could get this bad. Anyway, there's 2 waves in that first trash fight. It's pretty much the same. There's nothing special, right? It's just a trash fight. You drop your dots. Tanks take everything. But what we do then after the first wave is we swap positions, tanks and DDs. So like tanks move back and DDs move forward because there's things that need to be turned around and they're more easily turned around if you swap positions after the first wave. There's 2 waves. One wave you start at the entrance, and then as soon as the second wave spawns, everybody else moves over to where the tanks were, and tanks were to where everybody else was. Okay, quality is somewhat returning. Don't fall down. There is no golden sky shard here. You don't want to be getting it during a Godslayer and Audit run. This is where everybody starts panicking. This is like made it through the first bosses. This is where everybody's like, oh no. And I've heard horror stories of people actually throwing Godslayers by falling off of this platform. Make sure you're blocking here. Like, there's gonna be cats jumping. There's gonna be messy things. Make sure you're blocking. You see me, I'm like blocking just to walk slow and jump off the platform, because if you sprint, you can fall down. I was blocking as I was jumping off the platform. If you can see anything, I don't know if you can. Yeah, the final trash fight. Well, not final, but the final that doesn't exist. There's just one cat here, nothing else. I'm gonna have some chocolate. I'm sorry for doing this to you. You like chocolate? I love dark chocolate. So good. Anyway, jumping down. This thing cannot actually kill you. And I bounced there, midair. So I didn't even take any damage at all. If you bounce, but you can try to kill yourself if you like use balance or something. Or I mean, if you're DD, you probably want to be using balance. But if you just jump off, it will never kill you. Stack everything there. Spam. Don't use your ultis here. And going in. I am a portal DD. Just to push a little bit more portal DPS, I tried to run double ice for brittle, and it actually turns out that it's really good. So like having double ice in portals and having a frost enchant on my back bar instead of like weapon damage was actually increasing my portal damage because of the brittle. And not only my own portal damage, but it increases the damage of everybody else. It's like me using Inferno Staff, it's precise on front bar, was not as much damage as me using charged ice staff. In this fight, I'm actually using precise, but charged would be better. For my testing, charged was better, but in this fight, I'm using precise because I'm joking on chocolate. I'm using precise because I don't know why. Because I remorphed to precise, thinking it's gonna be better, and then I didn't farm enough crystals because I was like, crystal farming to transmute. And we already have enough. So I kind of did it just for, like in the beginning, especially since we swapped DDs around after a while, and then the DD that was new in Portal was kind of struggling. It took them a while to learn it. So I wanted to push a little bit more DPS to help. But then after a few raid days, she was like outbursting everybody else. It was just great. I loved it. So yeah, when you enter Portal, that first heavy attack, you don't need to even block or roll dodge, because when you enter Portal, you have a shield. So that actually doesn't do anything to you. So you can just keep doing light attacks and everything. Then interrupt late, pick up the green things, right? We're bashing at around 1 second left. I would recommend you probably bash at around 2 seconds left, because sometimes you're just late. And I would also say everybody bash. Because if you get one dedicated person who interrupts, I don't know, I don't like that. I feel like sometimes one person goes for a synergy or something, and then everybody expects, oh, maybe somebody else will bash. And then nobody bashes, and you wipe on Portal in a Godslayer run because somebody forgets to bash. Oh my god, please don't ever do that. Yeah, so negates, bolts, you do... Oh my god, okay. I didn't cast Crit Surge there. So again, there is Firestorm happening, and we want to stop damage when Firestorm is happening. Like, upstairs should tell you if it's safe to leave or not. If there's Firestorm going, you cannot go upstairs or you will die. Yeah, so you ideally stop damage and just leave early. Not early, late. And what happened is we got statue skip, so no statue. The way statue skip works is when Navi is about to spawn a statue and the servant inside the portal is doing some sort of a mechanic, the statue doesn't spawn. So this is also why I want to delay the interrupts as much as possible. Because if he's channeling, and there's a statue spawn attempt, then if you have delayed the interrupt, there will be no statue spawn. So it will skip the statue. And we got statue skip there on the first one, so that was great. That makes things significantly easier for the off-tank. I roll dodge there. I would recommend roll dodging the heavies if it's during a lightning, cold lightning phase. Because you want to keep moving. Sometimes I would just die, because I tried to block it, but then I was too slow, and I got hit by lightning, and I died. So, would not recommend doing that. Just roll dodge to be safe. Pins, we're not stacked. Should be stacked. Okay, I think this was like Firestorm there happening. So we kind of, well, we were kind of late with the stacks. That was okay. There might, I remember one of the portals got super tight. So I think it was the last one. It was the last one. I was actually shaking. I was actually shaking. It was so stressful. First Godslayer ever. Come on. Who isn't stressed? I had to tell myself to calm down. And final portal is happening soon. Oh yeah, before you enter portal, make sure you charge up your Magicka, because Magicka sustain is really a problem in portals. Maybe you could run like Clockwork, it would be fine, but I was running Arteum, and that was making things hard. Always drop your Atro after the negate is placed, because sometimes the negate places on top of the Atro, and that's not good. Sets, I am running False Gods with Medusa, and I don't remember if I'm running Slime Crawl, which would be best to push DPS in portals, but you can also run Double Crit. It's fine. But I believe I'm running Slime Crawl. Just to be safe, just to be super safe. I'm throwing a few heavy attacks in, just to make sure I don't run out of Magicka. Probably not necessary always. It's especially not necessary if you was again dodge roll of the heavy. Probably not necessary if you, what do I call it? I lost my train of thought here. Oh, if you pick up the green circles for the sustain. And boss is low, Firestorm is happening. We're like, oh shit, we cannot kill. We have to stop the damage right now. He is at 300k, Firestorm is happening, and now we just leave the dots on him. Like, if we killed that early, we would have ported out upstairs, and we would have died to the Firestorm. So we had to delay as much as possible. It was such a tight portal. We had to delay as much as possible. So what you do, but we're getting pinned, right? What you do is you place your dots, and you get pinned, and you pray. Pretty much. That's what you do. We did some testing and we're able to do, I think, 500k damage with the dots. Like, if we just place the dots before we go. Around 500k. You can do the testing for your own. I think it might have been 300. I'm not too sure. But the meteors, you see me, I'm like, I started running. I started running when meteor is happening in like a second or so. You don't want to stay there and react. You actually want to be ready to move. 2, I'm moving. I'm moving already when it says 2. If you don't get meteor, then you just return to your position. But you don't want to be late with the meteors, really. This is something that's scary. And what we're doing is DDs that are on the left, will drop it on the left. These are on the right, we'll drop it on the right. That is like Yoma stacks. Like, I was in the right stack, so I'm dropping on the right side. Tank can drop underneath the dragon, because those don't disappear. And there's Godslayer. Is everybody going crazy? Ah, it was fun. No, it wasn't fun. It actually wasn't. It was so frustrating. No, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. It's like it's worth it, right? It's worth it. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. That's Godslayer.